Well, hi there, Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina. Today, I want to talk about smoke detectors. The reason I want to talk about it is because my eyes might be a little bit red because ours started going off at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when they always go off, isn't it? It's never during the day. If that thing starts going off or chirping, and let me correct that. It didn't go off like we had a fire or anything. It started chirping, which is to let you know that the battery is low. Very aggravating, very annoying. You have to change the battery. That's a good thing because it lets you know. If it didn't, it would just go dead and it wouldn't be able to warn you in case of a fire. Smoke detectors are pound for pound, in my mind, the most valuable, for the amount of benefit they give you versus the amount of cost you pay for them, by far the biggest winner of anything in your house. You should have multiple smoke detectors in your house. Should have them in every bedroom as a minimum, hallways, and I recommend them anywhere near any gas burning appliances. And the same would go for smoke detectors, but that's another video. So, couple of facts about smoke detectors. I got a couple of notes here, so I didn't memorize them all. Working smoke alarms cut out the risk of dying in reported home fires nearly in half. 96% of homes have at least one working smoke alarm. 3/4 of all U.S. homes have... Wait a second, that's not right. Most homes... Well, then this says 3/4 have at least one smoking alarm. That kind of contradicts itself. This is from the NFPA. But let me get to some more facts. 2/3 of homes where fire deaths resulted did not have smoke detectors, or they had disconnected them. And that happens a lot. People are cooking or something, smoke alarm goes off, they disconnect it, and then they never reconnect it. We actually had a rental house this happened to. Fortunately, and there was a fire. Unfortunately, the person did not die. It did $58,000 worth of damage to the house, but nobody was hurt, and that's a good thing. No smoke alarms are present in 38% of the U.S. Home deaths. 24% of home fire deaths, smoke alarms were present but did not sound. Probably the battery was dead, or they had disconnected it, or something like that. So smoke detectors are a big deal. You should have them in every house. So let's talk about top 10 things, kind of like a David Letterman thing, that you should know about smoke alarms. There are two different types of smoke alarms. There's an ionization and a photoelectric one. They're both good. The ionization one is probably the one you see the most because it's a little bit less expensive, so they're more mass produced. Ionization detectors are best at detecting flaming fires, while photoelectric alarms are usually more sensitive to smoldering fires. They're both good. The best of both worlds is to have both, or have one. There are detectors that use both to detect it. You should test your smoke alarm at least once a month. Do as I say, not as I do, because I obviously hadn't been checked in mine, because you should replace the batteries at least once a year, and then you wouldn't be woken up at 2 o'clock with them chirping. A lot of people set this in correspondence with their clock changing. If you're in a place like I am, where the fall back, spring forward, whatever, they coordinate changing all their smoke alarm batteries with that. A lot of people too, when they if they do change, they like to write the date on the battery just in case. But I guess if you're changing it out yearly, it wouldn't matter. But if you wait for it to chirp like me, you'll get a good idea of how long each battery will last, and maybe make a spreadsheet for you engineer people out there. You may need you should change your smoke alarms every 10 years. I highly recommend this. That's something not too many people do. I wanted to say something about the battery too. Let me back up on that. If you're in doubt whether a battery works or not, replace it. I mean, they're cheap. Better to have replaced a battery that didn't need replacing than not replace one that you faultily thought that it was good. So if you're in doubt, just replace it. There are some smoke detectors. Check this out. I ran into this one time. They need, it's a 9-volt battery, but it needed one of the alkaline batteries. The one I had, it had to have, because I had put a different type of 9-volt battery and it didn't work. It had to have an alkaline battery. Haven't run into that lately. As a home inspector, I usually carry 9-volt batteries with me because I'll go into a house and it'll start chirping, and I cannot do the inspection with that chirping. Highly recommend interconnected smoke detectors, although you're going to hate this when they go off, because one goes off, the entire house goes off. But this will save you in the event of a fire. Another recommendation is get more smoke detectors than you currently have. I mean, that's just, they're inexpensive, and honestly, you can't have too many smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors as far as I'm concerned. It's best to have a professional install your smoke alarms. Combination alarms are available. This is a combination smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector. They're okay. I mean, I like them. The only problem I have is that smoke and carbon monoxide exhibits different behaviors when it spreads. I actually like carbon monoxide detectors that are lower, and smoke detectors, you want them to be up, high, and they need to be a certain distance away from the corner because of the way the smoke pattern. But combinations are okay. I mean, they're certainly better than not having them. Smoke alarms some smoke alarms come with a monitoring team attached, like some of these security companies. That's a good thing. You should never, ever, 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 ever paint over a smoke alarm. If you paint over it, you're going to inhibit its ability to tell if there's smoke. It's just not going to work properly and gum it up. You don't want to do that. So, also, everybody should have multiple smoke detectors. If you know anybody that can't afford or, is a low socioeconomic, refer them to the fire department. I think most local fire departments will provide low income. There's no reason why everybody shouldn't have multiple smoke detectors in their house. They're inexpensive and they save lives. Hope you got a lot hope you got something out of this, and hope you got a lot out of it. Thanks for watching. This is Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina. If you ever need an inspection in Charlotte, Raleigh, or Asheville, go to our website and homeinspectioncarolina.com. And for anybody else out there, there's a lot of free resources on that website as well. A lot of checklists, home inspection checklists, move-in checklists, maintenance checklists, things like that. You have my permission to download them and use them as you wish. This is Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina. Thank you for watching.